Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So today I wanted to take a look at this wireless fighting commander controller from Hori for the Super Nintendo Classic Edition. It is officially licensed by Nintendo, so that is a good sign, I hope. Taking a look at her, the box is pretty cool. Wireless controller, 6-button layout, turbo functions, slow motion functions. Sounds pretty legit, especially for some Street Fighter action. So, looks can be deceiving. And I've seen some mixed reviews on this, so I had to try this out myself, because this is, for me, a dream come true. Ever since the Super Nintendo, I wanted controllers like this with 6 buttons on the face. So you see here, she does come with a manual in multiple languages, goes over all the functions, your turbo mode, your slow motion. Slow motion's kind of bunk. It's just, pretty much there's 2 different levels of how quickly it presses the start button. And that's pretty much how slow motion has always worked on these classic systems. So here's our little dongle, and this plugs into the front of your Super Nintendo Classic Edition or your NES Classic Edition. We are actually going to test this bad boy out on the NES Classic Edition because we already know this was made for the Super Nintendo Classic. It's going to work on that bad boy. I want to see if she works on the NES, which I don't think there should be a problem, but I want to test that out. My first impression from holding this is the face buttons, the A, B, X, Y, L, and R. They feel legit. The A, B, X, Y feels identical to a real controller, and I have compared that. The start and select, not so much, and the D-pad feels a little off, so I'm a little worried with that. She does take 2 double A's, so be prepared for that if you get this. But we're going to go ahead and try out some Street Fighter, see what to do, if this thing performs. So let's go ahead and test her out. Okay guys, so we're gonna go ahead and test this bad boy out on some Street Fighter 2 Turbo. So like I said, I'm testing this out on the NES Classic, which I have flashed with the games from the Super Nintendo Classic, just because it works on the Super Nintendo, but I wanted to make sure it worked on the NES as well, because then that can broaden our horizons a little bit. Maybe more people would find interest in this controller knowing that it's, dual purpose. And it already, it's synced up easily. Just put the batteries in the back, plugged in the little dongle in the front. Boom. I don't know if you can see that, but dongle's in the front. And it synced right away. I was a little skeptical. Some people were having issues, supposedly. I don't know how. I have 2 of these. I've plugged both in, and both of them have synced and have worked in this, the menu select anyway. So let's go ahead and get in the Street Fighter 2 and just test her out, see what to do. Like I said, the buttons are straight legit. They feel identical to a Super Nintendo controller made for, the SNES Classic or the Wii or anything like that, an official Nintendo product. The buttons are identical. They all come up and feel the same. I don't know, how well you can see that, but they're the same. They're the same. They feel the same. Same size, same feel, everything. My main concern is this D-pad, but looking at it, I don't know if you can really see that. I should have done a close-up on that. They almost look like they're exactly the same mold. Everything about it is the same. How high it's raised up, the curvature that it kind of has on the directions, everything is identical except for the color and the texture. The only other thing that I can see and feel is on this, it feels a little more stiff than it does on this. Just a little bit more. Not anything crazy, but a little bit more for sure. It feels a little more stiff. So enough talking about it. Let's just get in here and try. Throw some fireballs, whatever. So I've seen mixed reviews. People saying they can't throw fireballs for nothing. They can't play Street Fighter. I don't know. They're not verified reviews, so who knows. But let's check it out. Let me see if I can throw a fireball. Ooh. Come on, man. Give me a chance to throw a fireball. Jeez. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have put it on turbo. Okay. No, don't kill me. Well, I'm not really having as much of an issue as I thought with what people were saying and some of the reviews. It seems like, my percentage of performing the move properly is about the same as with an original controller. I'm not having an issue. Come on, fool. So I'm pleasantly surprised. I'm just being honest with you guys. It's my first time using this, and I was kind of getting a little emotional. Like, did I just waste this money on a product that's going to be junk? Because I started reading the reviews after I bought it, and I'm like, dang it. I drove 2 cities away to go grab these from a GameStop, of all places. Because, I'll put the link in the description for this from Amazon. That's where I originally ordered it. But I don't know what the heck is going on. I pre-ordered this thing, early on. And it doesn't look like Amazon's gotten their shipments in, so who knows when they'll ship. So if you're interested, Amazon or, look on GameStop, wherever you can, if you really want this. Let's test the slow motion. I'll just do it just to do it. Stupid. But slow motion number 2, it's just going to pause the game over and over again. Slow motion 1, it's going to pause it a little more and then just turn it off. Now the hyper turbo buttons anyway. Crap. Can't let him win. This is the turbo buttons. You have 3 settings for turbo. So you have turbo, duh. And then you have hold turbo. So hold turbo, if you push the slider all the way to the top, it's whatever button you set that up on, it's just going to hold turbo. So it's going to just essentially just repeatedly hit that button over and over again without you touching it. So let me see. I'll do high punch. As you see, I'm not holding it. I just have the button slid up, and it's just going to repeatedly do it. Now, if I just put it on turbo mode, I am going to have to hold the button for it to repeatedly hit, which is okay, or just turn it off and play the game the way it's intended. But, you have options. I could see that being useful in some games. Even on the NES Classic, or using this in the Super Nintendo Classic, I could see some benefits to the turbo, maybe even the slow motion, maybe like, some Mega Man stuff, I guess. But overall, let me say this before we end it. I'm gonna rank this controller, but I'm gonna rank it on the functions here. I'm not gonna care about the turbo or the slow motion or the start and select. Start and select doesn't feel the same as an original controller, but who cares? The face buttons, the 6 face buttons, one of them's green, so a green screen's making it clear. Don't trip. The face buttons, we're using the original Super Nintendo controller as a comparison. So the Super Nintendo controller is a 10. Just each component's a 10. The buttons, I'm saying a 10. Just be honest with you. The D-pad, though it feels in a way and it looks like the original, other than a few differences, the texture and the color, whatever, it is a little stiff, don't get me wrong, but it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, especially from reading some of these unverified reviews. But out of a 10, I'm going to give it a solid 7.5. Solid 7.5 on the D-pad. Not bad, not great, but damn near close. So I'm actually really happy with this. I didn't think I was going to be. You go buy something, and then like me being an idiot, I'm going out of town to go pick this up, and instead of looking at the reviews and stuff beforehand, I looked after. But sometimes, some people, they may have a bad experience, or they just might not have gotten their product from Amazon. They're just pissed, so they post negative reviews. I don't know. Or maybe they legitimately had an issue with it. But as you see here, I'm not a professional player, but I was having no issue throwing fireballs or hurricane kicks or anything like that. It feels legit. It doesn't feel bad at all. I'm happy I bought these now, because I was kind of regretting it. I was like, man, I'm gonna have to go drive back and return these, because I bought 2 of them. That was $50, man. But I'm happy. I wish it had rechargeable batteries. So, if we took both of these components, averaged it out, I guess that would be an 8. Deduct a half a point because it uses AA's. Overall, 7.5. That's what I'm talking about. Solid 7.5 score overall for this controller. I dig it. You have other options out there. Just use the original controller. What? If you want something with 6 face buttons to play your fighting games, this is legit in my opinion. You have other options as well. 8-Bit, though, is going to be coming out with their wireless controllers that are the same price as this. But we already know 8-Bit, though, when they make controllers, they're legit, man. Especially when they're based off of Super Nintendo, or NES. They feel legit. So I'm super excited about those, too. And they're the same price as this, but, they're modeled after a real controller, so you don't get 6 face buttons. But it is wireless, so if you want that, boom. I'll have a link in the description for the pre-order on that. But yeah, if you're looking for wireless, if you're looking for, something different, this is pretty cool. I wish it had a rechargeable battery in there, but I guess there's some benefits to using AA's. I guess. I don't know. I might wind up taking this apart. If you guys are interested in seeing that, let me know. It does take a tri-wing screwdriver, though, which I do have. I might take this apart and see if I can change out the pad underneath the D-pad. I don't know. It's possible. I have spare parts, so I want to see if it's using the same fit as a original controller. Might be able to just swap some parts and get this even higher than a 7.5. But before you guys go, a couple of quick announcements. Or no, just one, I guess. I have a giveaway going on through Amazon, actually. I'll put the link in the description. It's for the Now You're Playing with Power book, the little companion book for the Super Nintendo Classic Edition. I have one on the way for myself, actually the paperback edition. But my giveaway is for the hardbound. I'm spoiling you guys. I don't know why I didn't get the hardbound. What? But I do have a hardbound edition that's being given away. And the way that's going to work is go to the link in the description. It goes directly to Amazon giveaways. One of my videos will be on there. You'll have to watch it. Make sure you've commented on the video, and make sure you're a subscriber as well. And then on, I believe it's October 6th, it'll say it on there. Amazon will randomly pick a winner out of all the eligible entries that they get. So bam, get out there, do it. That book is I believe a $30 book through Amazon. Everywhere else it's like $45 or so. So hey, you got a chance to get a cool looking book, some cool Super Nintendo stuff. Peep that out, guys. Peep that out. With that said, I really appreciate you guys watching. Hey, I'm happy with it. What can you say? Not perfect, but I'm happy. 7.5. That's good. That's good. Not great, but good. Smash that like button if you could. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. And with that said, guys, I will catch y'all next time. Boom!